Good morning and welcome everyone to another Monday morning meeting with Telehealth today. My name is James Hongs. I am the founder. Today is Monday, August 26th. And as always, I have a speaker for you guys. But before I introduce him, I just wanted to let everyone know November 1st, 2024, grand opening. Next Monday, I will personally do the entire meeting, tell you guys all about it, all about perks, different ways you can make money through this, different things we got going on. Very exciting news. 4 years in the making. Join me next week. My practitioners are going to get a message today, and it's going to be great. So thank you all for being here and enthusiastic about that. So today's speaker, we have Mr. Lutfi Abdullah, who is a mental health coach, which is very unique in Indonesia. And he's going to tell you all about that. He's been doing it for a few years. He enjoys his work, and it is a great pleasure to introduce you, Lutfi. Thank you for being here. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, my dear friend Dewi, for joining us too. Good afternoon to my friends in the United States. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lutfi Abdullah, your mental health coach. I do call myself Pep Talk, and it is not, but it will be a company. But so far, it is just myself, Pep Talk. Indonesian is not aware of this name pep talk. They thought that pep talk means peppy talk because my close friends call me peppy. But actually pep talk is about giving a spirit, giving a company the words to lift up their spirits. Okay. Me as a mental health coach focus on the positive psychology. In Indonesia, everybody thinks that mental health coach got to do with mental illness. So every time there is the word mental health, or Indonesia we call it kesehatan mental. People thought, oh, there is something wrong with me. There is something wrong with others, and they need psychiatry, they need neurology, they need psychology therapy, but it's not. Mental health is just like a healthy people who have sport, daily sport. You don't do sports when you're sick, yeah, right? You do sports when you're healthy, just to maintain your health. So that's what we do. And I've been doing this for 4 years right now, all alone, from the marketing, the design, the voiceover, the video, the editing, all by myself. And right now, I'm focusing on doing collaboration with a little company, which they want to use mental health as to highlight the company. And I saw training in UI, University of Indonesia, training the what do you call the nurse who will be sent to Japan and German. Yeah, and what more? So yeah, that's it. If there is a question, I could extend again about what is pep talk, well, more about mental health coach.
Well, I think I better give you some questions because that's the quickest presentation we've ever had. And no,
Yes.
yeah. So give us some details. And like, let's say somebody books an appointment with you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're bothered by something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just need help. What can you express the process of what you're going to take them through and like how you could help them improve their life?
Okay, yeah, okay. First of all, I marketed myself as mental health coach, and I have to educate what is mental health coach in Indonesia, which is very very hard because every time I announce myself, what is mental health coach, I always say it is positive psychology. And what is positive psychology? It is about positive inquiry. What we do is we focus on what you already had as an individual, at what it works, your potentials, and we work from there. So every time there is people asking me, I will say that what is your problem first. It doesn't have to be this very heavy, serious, dark thing that you have. It could be which focus on personal growth. Consult your personal growth. I'm sorry. Yes, and most of the time, people will be surprised. And most of the time, people will ask anything about their perception in life. Example, their work, their employment, which job they want to have, and if they want to quit, is it the right thing to do? What to consider when what they want to quit, or what to consider when they want to apply for their job. We work from there when we seek the potentials with what they have, and we also focus on personal growth, as in this is a thing in Indonesia. It is about extrovert and introvert. Some people doesn't understand it, and most of the time people think this is a pseudoscience about extrovert and introvert. But right now, scientifically proven that extrovert introvert is very with a scale. There is spectrum, so you could be extrovert and introvert at the same time, but different scores. And there we help people which job with your perks, with your quirks works. That's what I tell them. So in the end, by the way, I always tell, if you're an extrovert, you should try to listen more. But if you're an introvert, you should speak a little more. So in the end, everybody's an ambivert, because right now we're in the era where everybody should be an entrepreneur. That's what I think. Then you have to represent yourself, but also be a good leader for yourself first. So yeah, that's what I do. So if you're asking about how pep talk works, first of all, I have this a schema which filter out the preliminary questionnaire. If it is detected they have a problem with their mental health, will refer them to psychologist or psychiatrist, because I have a lot of connection and reference. If they cannot, let's say, because it's expensive to provide mental health care in Indonesia. I have a community which do just a little conversation, free. Of course, it's free, that help people, to be brave enough to go to psychologist. And of course, we have in Indonesia, we have free healthcare, but nobody don't know that we can you can provide the government can provide free healthcare. So I provide them with understanding that how to do it to have free healthcare if they are reference to psychologist or psychiatrist. Yeah, so that's what I do if someone needed. By the way, this is the first time. If there is a schema from people from around the world, so this is interesting for me, and I would like to say that pep talk with the name pep talk. I focus on personal development. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Mm,
good. So it looks like you really
mm,
really try to help people define themselves and who they are, and
mm,
use a lot of positivity and positive reinforcement to your governing principles. Is
mm.
that fair to say?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's
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 good.
correct.
That's good. And I
Mm-hmm.
loved what you said about teaching people to be entrepreneurs, because that's what my website is trying to do, right? I even
Mm,
tell people, like, when I met Professor Warner, he was like, he does the same thing, right? And so we're trying to get people to share their talents with the world on an individual basis through consultation. So you're very much in line with a lot of the speakers and with this company. So it is
yeah,
good
yes. Thank you.
good to hear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, see here. But you were also very quick. All right, Warner's got a question.
Yeah. Um, Lutfi, thanks for this introduction, and I think it's very important, particularly for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, to get all this support from different sides, and this is very important, right? So not only get support from one coach, but really from different sides in different stages. And so I appreciate very much that you're here and also doing a lot of this work in Asia. What is your experience in doing this work offline and online? Right. So we have to work differently if we do it remote, if we do it online, than if we have the person in our own room. So, what is the advantage of doing it online, and what is the advantage of doing it
Yes.
offline?
Yes. Pep Talk started 2021 because of high demand in because of COVID.
Yes.
People are forcibly locked down, cannot go out, cannot do socializing. So Zoom was the only media at that time, and I think it's a blessing in disguise when we are all cannot go outside and socializing. People are asking me for advice and asking my help professionally, in fact, and I provide them. What is the advantage of online counseling is that I give them follow up with lots of exercise. So what I do is I made a custom exercise from Pep Talk, which focus on self growth and also help them to monitor their emotional so their emotions, I'm sorry. So I what I do is I give them a diary for one day, and like each hour what do you feel, and you have to tell the story of the event of that day. However boring it is, just tell me and how do you feel. And that only can happen with journaling, and that only can happen with not socializing, in fact, but giving them exercise and introduce them. And also I can save a lot of time with other clients, and the client also can save time because meeting up in Jakarta, there is so much traffic. 1 hour is minimal to get everywhere. So it's like 1 hour and a half, and you have to commit and use your time like 3 hours, 4 hours just to meet me. But in online, you can do it anytime, anywhere, and I can give them follow up exercise. Then they can show their exercise again in online, and they can show me the exercise in the Google Docs, and we can share it together, um, which is very interesting. And I think that because Indonesia is Eastern culture, people are not very open up when they meet up and they feel vulnerable. It's not like Western culture. They really like to be in the spotlight, and they really like to be telling themselves about themselves. But Indonesia, my experience when I met them, when I look them in the eye, they don't open up. They just try to be, formal. So, my experience, people actually can cry if they go online in Indonesia, which is what I think is a upper hand, which is help me a lot the process if I go online. Oh yeah, I had once a client in New York, but they are Indonesian that lives in New York, and this Indonesian was basically an American, which is they grow born and grow in New York. So I have once or twice experience internationally. Even she has the roots of Indonesian, but she grew in New York. What my experience is, there is no culture barrier when it comes to emotions. They speak freely of how they feel and what is their struggle and about what they want in their life. So yeah, that's my experience going international. So I think there's no problem connecting with people. And I also teach that emotion is not something you put aside. Emotion is compass, and there is a great FBI ex FBI a negotiator, which simply said that emotion is very important. In fact, it's the only thing that we do as we have as a society, because what is we talk about what is matter to us. So if there is no emotion as compass, it's chaos, and that's what found. Whether you're Indonesian or not, we talk about that. Yeah.
I think that's very interesting because typically in the Western world we thought it's the opposite. If we cannot feel each other, if we are not in the same room, we cannot open up so good, or we cannot open so really, and so it's better to make life coaching, emotional coaching, psychology therapy, everything in the room, because otherwise we cannot open up so good, right? And you say it's the opposite in Eastern cultures, and I believe that we are used to online work today, and then we are more alone, right? And sometimes if you're triggered and you do the right trigger, then we are more alone and we can work on this alone and maybe open up much more. So I think that's a very interesting approach. And so, yeah, it's interesting experience. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it's
And
interesting.
what is your best case so far? Or do you have a case you can share, or a case study which we can learn from, or which you typically show also if you're teaching, or is there a very good case you want to share with us?
Yeah, it's about the hardest thing about being a mental health coach is about me being neutral. When you meet someone, especially based on gender, male or female, I have to be at zero assumption, and it's very hard because when you see a man, man is probably this, a woman is probably that. But if you have this kind of mindset from the beginning, it's gonna be very very hard to ask the right questions. So every time when I meet someone, I always assume it's not a man or a woman, and that's why most of the time when I do counseling, coaching, I don't do with the camera. We just with the phone, and I can just hear them voice, but I don't see their expression. So it helped me in a way. So to understand their insights, their worries, their struggles. And what interesting is that it's not about um, the client, but it's about myself as mental health coach. Is about how I probe myself. It's very interesting. It's not about probing the client, but probing myself in the way I think it in mere seconds about listening. It's like a form of art. It goes we go forward and you should go backward. You should be dominating, or you should go back and listen. It's something that I cannot explain. But if you have a lot of hours doing it, I have like 300 clients, and the less is 1 hour. There's one time, one client 3 hours straight. They want to stop. They just, do you have more time? Yes. Do you have more time? Yes. And then that 300 clients teach me is to listen to my intuition about listening. Sometimes there is a click. Sometimes you feel it in your body when you listen to someone. I feel it in my chest. This is the problem. This is something that I cannot explain. So it's about that, because most of the time when people reach pep talk, basically they are lost too. And I help them to map out their emotions, whether they need a psychiatrist or they could do it with me, as a mental health coach. Yeah, I think that's what's my experience in each case. Um, oh yeah, and talking about case, I work from executives to employee, like people who have mid experience of employment, college students, and high school. And high school is all about love. It is about their emotion when they're falling in love, and how they want to express their love. uh you know and what I learn is not help them to make that love letter, but how to understand their emotion first, because uh teenage is like they prone to be very emotional, and very label about emotion. So I help them, not about having that relationship, but also having that healthy self perception about loving someone. Yeah, I think that's about it.
That's good. I have a few more things to say, but Dr. Imama put in the chat, nice to meet you. Do you do marriage counseling?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a very good question. I don't know why do I forget about that. In my experience, marriage counseling is not about one person, it's about both person. When I meet the one partner, I have to meet the other partner. And most of the time in Indonesia, they don't want that. They want to keep it a secret. So one partner meets me, and we talk about it, but I tell them, This is just one piece of the puzzle, just small piece of the puzzle. I have to meet your partner," but I said I cannot. The idea that they are meeting me is already the problem. So the future in the coming experience, when it's about marriage counseling, I directly refer them to marriage counselor, because it's very hard, because of cultural thing. It's taboo to talk about your marriage in Indonesia. It's like that. Mm, Work teams, executive with employees, counseling the whole team or companies. Yeah, I do that with small team only so far, because most of the time the people that employ me to help them in the team are a person that already know me. And and what I do in the team is like I do most is focus group discussion. So what I do is I came just empty, just with nothing, because if I come with a slide, with with a template of idea how should be a team, then I assume the group, then maybe it will be a miss. So what I do is I come with nothing, and I said we could do this all day, and every time I do a focus group discussion is about 6 hours, because they enjoy it. So what they do is I just need a big blackboard and we just talk about it. What's the problem? And each person, I give them a chance to speak up, and what I do there is be the moderator, but I also give them idea. I empower them with which is the best and healthy way about pipeline communication in their company. Yeah, so it's like that. And executives, I have worked one that is having a problem with, yeah, pipeline communication. Most of the time it's about communication, because um, people like the higher ups, especially, they really like to assume that their employee understand the higher ups, but sometimes it's a one-way communication. Most of the times it's one-way communication, because what they do here is they help them to have this two-way communication without any fear of repercussions, which is very hard, I think, because corporate environment is very slip and slide. This is what you say in English, sleepy side. Yeah, it's there's many error, many risk to jeopardize their
Slippery
job
slope.
in me.
It's a slippery
Yes,
slope.
slippery slope. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, slippery slope. So because I will jeopardize their work too, because what I focus is not their output of their work, but I focus on their productivity. So it's a challenge for me to do with company. My forte is with individuals. But again, yet again, when there is a team of people, each I work with each individual. So that's why it takes a long time to do it. But that's the right way to do it. I think there's no other way. I cannot assume these 6 people are the same people. I have to uh, teach the leader, the executives, to recognize each one of the employee and how they work, how they perform. So it's been a challenge for me, but um, I think in the coming future, if there is a bigger company, I should do it in team. Because right now I'm just doing it for a little company which consists of 5 to 7 people. Yes. I will continue to my friend Dimitri. Have you ever had a client that needed psychometric testing, personality testing? Yes. What I do here most of the time is coaching. So this is the one thing that Pep Talk it is unique. What I do is psychoanalytic reading. So what I do is I ask their writings, anything from their blog, from their captions or their journaling or their poems, because most of the time I work with Gen Z and millennials, and they are very expressive at writing and captions and blogs. And I do psychoanalytic reading. I have take the course of subconscious from the University of Pennsylvania, and what I do is it's like what do you call the handwriting thing, but what I do is not
Graphology?
psychoanalyze. Yeah, graphology. What I
Graphology.
do
Oh.
is not, yeah, graphology. I do not work with their handwriting, but I work with their choice of words, their how they write their paragraph and how they express themselves, and that way I have this an image of themselves and what is their what there is their fear and what is their potential. I work from there because the most of the time even life coach use graphology to know the client. I know it is sounds so pseudoscience, but for me it never have failed me to do my work. When
Mm.
I read their writings, their blogs, their captions, their poetry, or their journaling, I it gives them their insight subconsciously, and that way it is more. I think it is more insightful than psychometric testing, because with
Mm.
psychometric testing, they want to look good, they lie. So there is favorable questions, they will answer the favorable way. They have this good image about themselves, so there is a big risk that is not presenting themselves. But if they I caught them off guard, which is I read their writings, their expressive, emotional. I can work from there. Mhm.
Mm. Thank
Please
you.
share with okay. Yes, Dimitri.
Oh, well, I was just about to say thank you. And actually that reminds me of this research study that I read about a few years ago, where uh people's word choice changes, like the pattern of their word choices that changes depending on who it is that they're talking to, most particularly when they're talking or writing to their superiors, their bosses. So when somebody is writing to their professor or manager or boss, what I remember from this research study, they start using the word I more frequently. And I don't know if that's more consistent with your experience, but I've seen a little bit of that before.
Yeah, it is very cultural thing. Like
Mm.
in Indonesia, I there is two forms, saya or aku, and
Okay.
sometimes they use saya, sometimes they use aku, which doesn't have any equivalent. They are the same thing, but sometimes they interchangeable, or why this individual use saya or why this individual use aku. We can work from there in Indonesia. Oh yeah, and by the way, my master is in social intervention, but my
Mm.
undergraduate is in French literature, and I took linguistic.
Okay.
And in linguistic, there is psycholinguistic. So I learned a lot about prose and summary, and also how to write a big scientific paper, and yeah, which focuses on psychology also, which we can see that this no individual is trying to convey something subconsciously, um, which is say sometimes this individual could be detected passive aggressive by just the
Mm.
words itself, even though it is a formal letter. But we can see that this person is disliking their leader, or things like that. So yeah,
Mm.
it's very insightful if you caught them off guard with their writings.
Mm.
Mhm. Thank you, Dimitri, for adding your insight also. From Ummah Nabil. Ummah, where you come from?
I'm from Pakistan.
Oh,
I lived in
Pakistan.
US for 2 years and now I'm in Dubai.
Oh, Dubai. Yeah.
Mm.
When I was young, I went with my parents to Kuwait, and I go to Indian school. Most of my friends are Indian, Filipino, and Pakistan.
Oh,
Yes. Okay.
nice.
Please share with us some basic tools to take care of our mental health. Yeah, very good question. This is also what I want to share with my friends here. I always say mental health doesn't come with only thinking, but also doing. So what I promote in pep talk, there you have to do something physically, really, really physically. And I promote this. You walk outside for 20 minutes, and you do this. This is called active meditation, because most of the time when we hear mental health, they promote meditation, and when we think meditation is like this thing, and when you do nothing and and you have this your brain wave somehow will be in alpha wave, which is more calmer than before. But there is recent studies that found that when we do meditation, we do the opposite of what we want to what we want to do. When we do meditation directly by doing nothing, our brain becomes more active because we speak a lot, we have a lot of chatter in our heads. So for a beginner, we have to do what is called active meditation. And what you do is you do something what you like alone, which is repetitive, like doing your lawn, cutting the grass, or something repetitive. It doesn't take a lot of cognition activity. It's like auto mode. It's like my friend when I ask them this at first that I never do any active meditation, but when I delve and check their activity, he said that after work they come home and he just stay in his yard in his lawn, and he just water the lawn, and he likes the smell of the wet leaves and wet ground. Yeah, wet soil, that's it, wet soil. I'm sorry, wet soil. And that's give him calmness. And I said, that's it, that's active meditation. So yeah, that is my basic tools to take care of mental health. It's cheap. It doesn't require any deep meditation. It doesn't require yoga or Pilates or you go to gym. You just do something that you like repetitively with low activity on cognitive, but it gives you calm. Okay, telepathy. Unfortunately, no, I cannot. But it's interesting, because I learned about subconscious, and what I learned from subconscious is I do hypnotherapy. I learn hypnotherapy, but I don't have the license. That's why I cannot do hypnotherapy to others, but I can do hypnotherapy to myself. And there is this thing called shadow working. It's like you really being sincere to yourself, and see what you hear your conscience, what is bothering you, because sometimes what is we like block out what is bothering us because we don't talk about it. We avoid what is bothering us. But with hypnotherapy, self hypnotherapy, we can work with ourselves. And it is important for mental health coach, for any mental health worker, to have this time for themselves. Either they do meditation, active meditation, or shadow work, as I call it, to have this activity that is gives you insight of what is bothering you. Because sometimes when you do mental health as a mental health professional, we don't prioritize ourselves. Every time we have a time, we always help others, but never listen to our body what we need. So what I'm saying is that telepathy is something people thought is pseudoscience, but I think it's very scientific, because at least you can do telepathy to yourself. Yeah.
Right. We
Okay.
can train the brain to be more smarter by doing this. We
Excuse
can
me.
train
Can
our
you?
brain to be more powerful and more thoughtful by doing this technique. We can train our
Ye-
brain.
yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Because we give this self suggestion to ourselves. Self
Mhm.
affirmation to ourselves. Because um, sometimes we don't open up to people, especially when we don't have time to ourselves, and I don't have the time to meet others, and we have these suggestions that what we could do well in the future, then we could do this self hypnotherapy. Yeah, and I do really believe in hypnotherapy. I've seen hypnotherapy do miracles, helping people which are having blockage with psychologists, with psychiatrists, because because it consists with someone to delves into our psyche, and we block people because there is a shameful thing that we don't want people to know. But with hypnotherapy is like an auto work to ourselves, to our deep psychology. That is interesting.
Yeah.
I
Thank
hope
you.
there is an okay question for Uma. Thank you. And for Dewi, of course. Hi, I wanted to ask, what is your utmost reason to follow your true calling now as a mental health coach? Yes, this is very personal, because I needed mental health coach where there isn't any mental health coach. It was 2006, 2007. I was in deep depression, and I just keep it to myself. And there is this event of, I should say, miracle. I meet a lot of people, and yeah, the first people who helped me is a hypnotherapist, because I have, even I don't know what's my problem. There's a thing that is a ongoing thing that within myself, even I don't know myself at that time. So yeah, I think it takes one to know one. It takes someone who experienced depression to help someone who have mental health problem. I think that is why I call this my true calling. And I also think that Indonesia is, what I say, a lot of people who needed help, but as of right now, at this moment, there is not a lot of trust on psychologists, on therapists, or on psychiatrists, because that's the thing. There is a stigma that they are afraid, these clients, they are afraid they have this neurological, they are crazy, they are psychopath. Even they ask, do you know how to detect a psychopath? That's the first silly questions, but it's very interesting, because they know they have a problem, but they always jump to conclusion, they have severe mental illness. And that's why I said that this is my true calling. I could be a bridge to someone who have really mental illness, to help them in pre therapy, and after the therapy I help them post therapy on what they want to do in their life after therapy. Most of the time I work with people with post therapy, and yeah, it is very even for me it's very therapeutic, helping with people who need help. So that is my true calling. Thank you, Dewi, for that beautiful question.
Well, I want to jump in there because I had something written down, and it's just every time you answer a question, it's just more and more that way. It just sounds like you're going to be good. You sound like you come from a place of humility and being a student, and I think that's great. And I can tell that everything you learned, you apply to anything you do in the future. So you're taking this seriously. I commend you. I think you're going to be good. I also like what you said about feeling emotions, because a lot of times emotions aren't convenient, right? Like if you're in a battle or you're in a war, like you don't have time, but you have to make time because you're worth it, right? Because everybody's worth it. And if you don't share you with the world, you're ripping the people that often need you the most. So that's something I'm working on myself. So thank you for that. And I totally agree with you as far as the online thing too, because I think online does make things easier. You do the online so that when you walk outside, you can have that openness that you're trying to accomplish in Indonesia. So that's awesome. Thank you. Any last words or last questions from anyone?
Not so much a question, but a brief comment. So you mentioned how in Indonesia the interpersonal interaction tends to be formal. And I come from Russia, so one thing that Russians have in common with Indonesian culture is that Russians, they're very formal too, they're very stoic. They don't make a lot of facial expressions in public, especially not with strangers. So there is some commonality there.
Yeah, it's
I think we lost him. His picture froze. It froze for a second there too. He might be
Yeah.
right.
You got, yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great presentation there.
Yeah. Thank you all for asking those questions too, because he was done in like 5 or 10 minutes, but we kept him going and like everybody was
Yeah.
glad that we did, so that was cool. That was good. Well, he might have got kicked, so I guess we'll probably just call this the meeting now. I guess it was decent.
Oh, I think he's coming back online.
Okay, he's back. There he
Yes.
goes.
Welcome
okay.
back.
Hello.
But yeah, you
Okay.
dropped.
I'm so
So, yeah. if you wanna
yeah,
say-
yeah. There's something wrong. Okay, and Dimitri, can you repeat what you're adding in the?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Mm.
it may have been truncated. So I was just going to say briefly that there's some commonality with the Indonesian culture and Russian, and by extension, arguably the Eastern European culture, where in public,
Yes.
Russian people are very stoic. They don't make facial expressions. They tend to be formal. So that's in contrast to Westernized culture, where people tend to be expressive,
Mm.
informal more often. So yes.
Yeah, yes,
Can I
yes.
ask you
Yeah, I would
about
like
that
to add.
too? They don't want people
Yes.
to know what they're thinking, or what's the reason behind it to be expressionless?
Your sound is not clear.
Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
I
can.
can hear
It
you,
is a
but
little muffled. Yeah, for some
Muffled,
reason.
mumbly.
maybe
Okay,
try
maybe.
increasing your microphone volume.
Can you hear me now? My kids are watching movies, so maybe there's background noise. Is it clear now?
I can hear you, but it's still a little bit muffled.
Okay, so I was asking the reason behind being expressionless in public and in formal gatherings. Is it like they don't want people to know what they're thinking, or what's the reason behind it? Not to show their expressions.
Is that a question for me or to
Yeah, for you,
Lutfi?
because you told us
Oh,
that Russians are
so
expressionless.
the reason why they tend to be stoic, Eastern Europeans,
Yeah.
there are multiple theories. One theory is that that part of the world has undergone hardships. Most recently in modern history, the revolution and the period of communism, centrally planned economy, and then the subsequent collapse of the Soviet Union. But that's just one theory. There are like multiple theories. Another theory is that there's been a long-standing cultural perception where something about a servant's smile. So somebody who smiles too often or for no obvious reasons, that can be interpreted as maliciousness. Yet another reason is uh, making expressions too often or smiling too often or being informal too often, that can indicate lack of intelligence. So there are like multiple
Okay.
different theories, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're miserable. It just means that it's a different way of interpersonal interaction.
Mhm.
And let me
Yeah.
jump in on that one too. I would bet it's fear, right? Fear that they're going to have something negative instead of something positive. And it might not be their fault, but like as
Yeah.
children, we haven't been through the negative. So they're always seeing positive. The more negative you go through, the more that's going to happen, I feel, right? Even if it's not your
And there's
fault.
like there's legacy of that. So I think that's plausible. Yes.
So I'm scared to go to Russia now because if I smile, people will not like it. Maybe. Just
Yes,
thinking.
I agree with James. I think it's about the fear of people assuming us, you know. So we don't tend to open ourselves too much because we fear that people will talk behind us, you know. So we always Indonesia, we smile a lot. We are warm, but
Mm.
but at certain point we don't uh go with deep connections. We don't want deep connections because there is certain point that there is a not betrayal, but just that we're afraid that people will assume bad about us because talking discussing something bad is taboo in Indonesia in every
Mm.
way. So we avoid, but me as a mental health coach, and I learn in psychology, of course,
Mm.
discussing something bad is a way to reach a point that we have common ground. So it's a concept which is very ungrasped by Indonesian. It's like how Obama talk about he smoke weed in college. In Indonesia, if a politician said that, he will lose everything.
Oh.
But Obama, well, in college we smoke weed and then we stay up late and we talk about politics, But Indonesia, when you say that, you will lose your career. So
I think he's
but
truthful.
if
He
if
says what he
yes, Eastern culture is like that. But if
Mm.
we miss that human connection, as we also human has this vulnerability, and we work on that vulnerability based on trust, trust, which means that I do not attack you, I do not use that your weakness, your vulnerability to gain power or to gain something. We will go there, But that's why Americans like to hug. It's common
did.
in Europe people to kiss. Arabic people also have kiss, but
Yeah,
Eastern
maybe.
Indonesian kiss your whether it's a man or woman or someone is it's unheard of. We sometimes we do this, but in distance like that, just like that. So openness is a slippery slope. That's it in Indonesia. So that's why. But the when there is a problem, there is a risk, there is an opportunity. For me as an entrepreneur to work on that. So yeah, that's why I think that this is a good opportunity me as a mental health coach to work in Indonesia with my skills.
Because I feel if we are not laughing, we are not friendly, we will have more mental health problems and we'll be more stressful all the time. So I feel like you should have more friends and be more friendly with people you trust, obviously.
Yes, correct. And also in Indonesia, stand up comedy is just entered 10 years ago, which in America stand up comedy is like since the 70s, I think, and in Indonesia is like 10 years ago. And right now, stand up comedy is like a critique to the society, but it is always controversial. But people love it. People need to laugh. When we laugh at ourselves, we are being humbled in a way, and it's a process, I think. How about in Pakistan? There is a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, they are very famous ones, and we do watch the Canadian ones as well. There is one, Russell Peter. In India, there are a lot of them. They do their personal shows on YouTube as well, and everybody loves it. Yeah, we do laugh a lot. We do we
Yeah,
give
yeah, yes,
smiles a lot. Yeah,
right.
it's really good presentation. We really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for the great presentation. Thank you all for watching. And again, next week, it'll be me talking about launching this company on November 1st. So
Okay.
please join us next week. It'll just be me talking. All good news. But yeah, it's a great present. Any last words?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to be active with my friends in telehealth. It's is a privilege, I think, to work with people in the same frequencies who like to empower themselves and then empower others. Because first, most of all, like you said, I think that the key of empowering is learning entrepreneurship and teaching entrepreneurship to others. I think it is a part of mental health coaching, and there is something I learned today. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. And I personally do feel one of the best ways to be powerful is to empower others. Right. And that's a student mentality. So
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
definitely in line, and it definitely is a privilege. So
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you all for being
Thank you.
here, and until next Monday.
All right.
Thank
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you guys next Monday. Bye.